Hi everyone, Tuesday evening to you. It is the most detailed weather forecast you're going to find for the Mahoning and Shenango valleys of northeast Ohio and northwest PA. It's weather for Weather Geeks. This pattern is impressive in terms of the cold. It's going to be around for the foreseeable future, and it's going to come with several chances for some snow. In particular, one notable system at the end of the week, which we will talk about coming up. In the meantime, today being the 7th day of the month, we're now, of course, 1 week into January, and these are just the high temperatures. When you factor in highs and lows, this has actually been the coldest start to January through the first week since 2018. Now, 2018 was extremely cold during the first 7 days of the month. This 7-day stretch to open January of 2025 does not really compare much to that 2018 stretch, but this is the coldest opening stretch since that really harsh start to 2018, 7 years ago. All right, let's check in on the snow numbers, both locally and throughout the region. Now, compared to average as a percentage of our average through today's date, when we are talking about our viewing area, we're pretty close to average at the Youngstown Warren Airport, where we get our official numbers. A little behind average there, actually, but we are above average in Columbiana, Boardman, Canfield area, heading down towards Hanoverton as well. We're also above average from Newton Falls and Southington, right through the northern tier of Trumbull and Mercer counties, and another place that's a little below average over towards New Wilmington, in addition to Sebring, Beloit area over towards Alliance in western Mahoning County. We're also a little bit behind average down towards Route 39 from Salineville over towards Highlandtown, East Liverpool, Wellsville, and places like that. I'll actually zoom out a little on this map and show you, kind of a regional look at snow again. Percentage of average through today's date. The snow belts have done very well so far this winter, including the Erie, PA area. Also above the average thanks to the recent storm that just went through in Cincinnati and Athens and Parkersburg and over towards DC and the Baltimore area as well. That storm that rolled through earlier this week that just clipped us, of course, has put those places way above the average through today's date for seasonal snow totals. The actual snow totals, we're getting up above 80 inches pretty easily in Ashtabula County, Ohio, northern Crawford, and certainly up into Erie County, PA. In fact, over 100 inches, pretty common in parts of Erie County and into Chautauqua County and southwestern New York State. And, it's always interesting. There's always a big difference, of course, between the snow belts and outside of the snow belts, but the difference is really stark this year between far northwest Ohio, close to Toledo, where very little snow has occurred so far this winter. And that trip across I-90, you go from basically 0 to almost 100 inches of snow for the season so far in far eastern Ashtabula County and heading over towards Erie County, PA. So yeah, it's really remarkable what those Great Lakes will do for you in terms of snow totals, and we're going to add a little of those snow totals across the region over the next 24 hours or so. The radar is active with snow flurries out there this evening. These are all pretty innocuous, but every flake can stick when it's this cold outside, and a little bit of an uptick in snow shower and flurry activity tonight will probably result in some small additional accumulations. Best chance for a couple or even a few inches of snow over the next 24 hours off to the north of our TV viewing area. So this is Crawford County, PA, around Meadville, heading up towards Erie, and the far northern reaches of PA into southwest New York. Winter weather advisories are up for those locations because they have the best chance of seeing a handful of inches of snow over the next 24 hours. Now, nationally, the big weather story this week is going to be this big winter storm that's going to impact a lot of southern locales. Already, winter storm watches are up in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, southeast Oklahoma, almost the entire state of Arkansas, and this is just the beginning. There'll be subsequent winter storm watches, winter weather advisories, and eventually winter storm warnings that extend off to the east across parts of Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, into the Carolinas as well. Now, this is the system that's going to, once again, kind of graze us, but give us a real good chance of seeing some accumulating snow, I think, around here. That'll be on Friday night. Also, it's cold outside in the western and southern U.S. Now, as part of the hazard simplification process, the National Weather Service offices across the country will no longer be issuing wind chill warnings, wind chill watches, or advisories. They've been replaced by this set of products, extreme cold warnings, watches, and advisories. They've also eliminated certain products that are a little redundant, and it's all part of just cutting down on, it's all part and parcel of cutting down on the number of products that the Weather Service has to issue given certain weather situations. So you're going to see these instead of wind chill advisories, wind chill watches, and wind chill warnings. They are cold weather watches, warnings, and advisories. It's cold enough that, again, every flake can stick, I should say, here at home tonight. This is going to be just real localized flurries, snow showers. If you get under a decent snow band, you might pick up a half an inch, 3/4 of an inch, maybe even a fluffy inch in a couple of spots. But again, the better chance will be with this Lake Huron connector up here towards Erie and Meadville into the other counties along the northern tier of PA near the New York border. So yeah, if you put percentages on it, the highest odds of 1 inch or more, it goes up to, almost, mortal lock that you're going to see an inch worth of snow once you're up into Crawford County, into Erie County. But in our TV viewing area, northeastern Mercer, and again, I kind of mentioned this last evening, I wouldn't be surprised if we had a couple of sneaky bands that tried to accumulate up to an inch, maybe down towards the Ohio Turnpike. You see the percentages are low on this graphic, but I wouldn't be bowled over if, a place like Newton Falls or Lordstown, or even close to Youngstown, and maybe down towards western parts of Lawrence County. I'm not going to be surprised if a couple of locations in there try to get a fluffy inch worth of snow overnight for tonight. This disturbance, that dashed black line, pivots through the Great Lakes tonight. And again, it activates the lakes a little bit more tonight into tomorrow morning. Scattering of flurries for our Wednesday. It'll be a lot like today, just a little bit colder. I think we'll be hard-pressed to get out of the lower 20s. I think lake effect tomorrow will be more aimed downwind of Lake Michigan, so northwest Ohio, into central Ohio even. Some lake effect getting down towards Columbus even. They can see lake effect, in this part of Ohio with streamers coming off of Lake Michigan. They usually miss out on the Lake Erie action, but you can see some lake effect in Lima, in Mansfield, and Columbus, places like that, when you have a northwesterly fetch off of Lake Michigan. Then the sky goes partially clear for tomorrow night, Thursday morning. That's going to allow the temperature to really drop, and I think the sky will be mostly clear Thursday night into Friday morning as well. And then here's our next system. This is that southern stream system. There'll be some snow and ice problems as far south as Birmingham, Alabama, Atlanta, Georgia, certainly, over towards Charlotte, and certainly in the mountains in the Carolinas. There's going to be big problems with snow and ice down there. For us, this will be Friday night that the snow pushes in, but until then, the cold will be the story. These are the temperature expectations for Thursday morning. I wouldn't be surprised if some colder sheltered valleys in between some of these numbers that you see here on the map. I wouldn't be surprised if some places saw 7-8 degrees Thursday morning. And then Friday morning could be even colder. You're not going to see a lot of official temperature forecasts as low as 2, 3, 4 degrees, but could some of the really traditional colder spots, if the sky is clear, you got snow on the ground, the wind will be fairly light. Could there be a couple of places in here that see 2, 3, 4 degrees first thing Friday morning? Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me one bit. So yeah, the cold is going to be the story for a couple of days. Now, with regards to our late week winter storm, we're kind of in this part of this graphic right now. We're still between 3 and 4 days out. We'll probably put in some official numbers as far as accumulation expectations into our forecast for, we'll do that tomorrow for Friday night. I put this on social media earlier. I think we're looking at roughly 8 p.m. Friday to about daybreak on Saturday, a good 12-hour window, where it's going to snow a lot of the time. It's going to be pretty light in intensity, but it's going to occur most of Friday night. And so the odds of accumulating snow and impacts are trending up. As we get into tomorrow, we'll start really honing in on the timing and details and the impacts. This is coming at a favorable time in terms of, there's less traffic certainly on a Friday night than there would be at rush hour on a weekday. But those who will be out and about, including yours truly, going home from work Friday night, we're not going to be real thrilled with the forecast, I think. Confidence is pretty high in the storm track, in the storm timing, and of course the precip type. We're in no danger of seeing any precipitation type issues with this. It's going to be snow. The snow amounts, always, low to medium confidence a few days out. It's very rare that you see me put high as far as the confidence in snowfall totals, more than 12 to 24 hours out. But, I think, a few inches is a pretty good bet. Again, we're going to talk specifics tomorrow, but I think, we're not going to see anything like they're going to see in northeast Texas and Arkansas, where some places might get a foot. But I could see a solid, fluffy 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4 inches worth of snow, something like that Friday night. Not all the snow in the world, but it's certainly going to be enough to shovel and plow and cause some disruptions for anybody who does need to be out from about 7 or 8 p.m. on Friday through about daybreak on Saturday. The confidence remains very high in the longer range forecast here. It is a cold forecast. We might flirt with 30 a couple of times, by the weekend, early next week perhaps. But I don't think odds favor us breaking freezing anytime over the next 10 days and probably even over the next 2 weeks. The longevity of this cold snap is what it's going to be remembered for, not the individual days being extremely cold. Doesn't seem like that kind of pattern, but the longevity is certainly notable. We're already off to our coldest start in January in 7 years, and this has a real good chance of being our coldest January in several years, and our coldest month compared to average since June of 2023. It's been about a year and a half since we've had a substantially cooler than average month any month of the year. And so I think we've got a good chance of breaking that streak here in January of 2025. In the meantime, thanks for watching Weather for Weather Geeks on this Tuesday evening. I'll see you back here same time, same place on Wednesday.